Hello, my name is Bill Barberg, President of Insight Formation, and I'd like to share briefly how Hunterdon County is using a strategy management system to improve community health. Across the nation, county after county are trying to improve health of their citizens, and there are many efforts. Some of them are bottom-up or data-based approach focused on measuring health-related data and reporting that back to try to track progress and hopefully inspire improved health. But those, as they reach up from the detailed data, don't often get into the details of what changes and collaboration and efforts need to go on to actually improve the health. On the other end of the spectrum, you have the top-down or strategy-centered approaches that start with a vision about being healthy and have partners coming together to create community health improvement plans that are typically very high level, and they're reaching down from a vision or a strategy, but they too often fail to get into the details of how that strategy is going to be implemented. So in county after county, you have an execution gap where health is not improving like people would hope it would. That's where strategy management systems come in. Without a strategy management system, you often have people getting together and they have a lot of good ideas that might end up on flip chart paper up on the wall. But the challenge is, what do you do with that information, and does it really get used and implemented? In most cases, it might be put together into a nice planning document and they can check off their strategic plan and show it around, but it doesn't really get implemented. They may list their partners, but there's no way of tracking who's doing what or what are the new collaborations that are going on. And they may list ideas or activities going on, but there's no, again, practical way to track what's going next, what's happening next, and how are these coming together. So you have many different organizations going through a similar process, which is a lot of redundancy, a lot of wasted effort, and the tragic thing is most of these documents simply end up on the shelf, not being used. As a result, many communities may agree on their health goals, but all the little arrows inside the big arrow aren't aligned, so there's an execution gap, and health is not improved like it could be. With strategy management, there's a greater focus on aligning in the efforts of these different organizations so there's better teamwork, better communication and collaboration, and therefore improved community health. A lot of these concepts are identified in the book More with Less, which talks about strategy management techniques such as strategy maps and balanced scorecards. And those are particularly powerful when combined with online tools like Insight Vision that we'll be looking at shortly. The strategy management concepts build on the database and other things, but they're driven from the top. They really come from and as an extension of the vision. So a strategy management system doesn't replace the SHAD2 system, and it doesn't contain all the BRFIS data, but rather it sits above and helps replace all of the manual document and PowerPoint-centered approaches with a much more dynamic system that links into the data. The key concept of a strategy management system is that strategy maps are developed, and they're describing the strategy across different perspectives. So you're looking at the outcomes up on the top here with objectives for community health status. Then you're looking at how you're going to achieve those outcomes, where you have objectives on how the community is going to implement the strategy and how they need to improve on processes and learning to be successful at implementing the strategy. And it starts with how do you leverage the community assets more effectively. So there's a cause and effect logic that helps describe the strategy. This is an actual strategy map for St. Clair County in southeastern Illinois, and it's for one of their themes, which is on fitness. And you can see there's these various objectives. They're linked by cause and effect arrows. And so one of the ways they want to improve fitness of adults is by promoting employee fitness programs. A nice feature of the software is that you can click on an objective and it brings up information about that objective, more detail for those who need to know. So you can have a description and a from-to gap, and you can actually go right into this presentation-ready content and edit it. So it's much more interactive than just a report. Well, let's take a look at the Insight Vision site for Hunterdon County. The home page has an introduction here on the top, and then users can select specific measures from any of the measures in the system that they want to appear on their home page. And if they scroll down, they can see the specific projects that they've selected to appear on their home page. Most of the content is in either the strategy map or the scoreboard view. And if we go into a scoreboard, we can see we have those perspectives labeled here, and underneath we have the objectives and the measures. So if we look at decreasing obesity in Hunterdon, we have the measure here. We have some ability to drill down to some of the data from the surveys and Burfus data that's been collected. We can see the prior year, the current year. We can see that this has gone up for 3 consecutive years, and that's a bad direction, so the up arrow is red. And down, when we get into community implementation, the first objective we see here is about pumping up existing weight management programs. Clicking on that will bring up this objective presentation view, where I can then go in and edit and fill in more of the description. Here we have the measure, so as soon as data starts becoming available, if we get multiple data points, we can see the trend. And here we can see the template for the from-to gap, where we have a place where people can go in and edit, and the people who are the advocates or advisors for this particular objective can fill in where we are today versus where we want to be, and really get some clarity there. And then they simply save it, and it's there for everyone to see. In this system, you can have information on a wide range of health-related data and information. So here we can see we have themes for different priorities that came out of the MAP process. So hundreds of communities across the country are using the MAP process to come up with their community health priorities. Those can be put right in here, and then strategy maps can be developed for each of them. If we scroll down, we can see we have partners, and each partner isn't just listed on a document, but they actually have their own scorecard. So we can go in here to Rutgers Cooperative Extension and see they have objectives with measures, and if we click on a measure, we can see the measure at a glance view. Again, a presentation-ready view. No need to go in and create separate charts and PowerPoints. As soon as you put data in, it's available in very usable formats. So we can see the trend, we can see the data, and if we scroll down, we can see the related initiatives. So you get right into the details of the projects, and you can click on a project and learn more. You could upload files, status reports, pictures, and the people who have the appropriate security rights can go in here and add comments or update the status or edit the entire project or initiative. If you go back to the scoreboard view, you can go into the edit mode, and from there you can go in and edit a particular measure. You can click on the action here and it will bring it into the edit mode. And then we can go in and see where we can change information about the measure and actually enter in the data. Because many of these key measures are not coming from a data warehouse. They're things that would be entered in by various partners sharing what they're doing. And once a month or once a quarter, they might just go in and add a new data value. And then it's in the system for everyone to see. Once data has been put in the system, it can be viewed in many different ways, such as in strategy maps. And these are also interactive. I can click to get to the measure at a glance view or click to get at the objective presentation view for any one of these objectives. But it's not just the information from the themes or the Community Health Improvement Plan. We've already taken data from the University of Wisconsin's County Health Rankings as part of their MATCH program and put those in so they can be tracked and integrated and linked to other projects and programs. So it's not a separate set of information. It's just building out into a shared set of information. Similarly, if you have data that you're doing a self-assessment for the FAB standards, we have a template that can put those FAB standards in. You can do, the County Health Department can do a rankings, and they can then link this out to other relevant measures. And they can use these as part of other indexes, or they can link to them in various ways. The key is you don't recreate data, you reuse it. So using the software is not about eliminating meetings. You can still have people get together for that valuable face-to-face collaboration and discussion. But instead of just putting flip chart paper on the wall, typing it up, and it kind of gets disregarded, They could have their discussions and update the software in real time, just like this group is doing at the North Penn United Way. Once the information is in the system, it can be accessed in many different ways, such as on an iPad, or if you have elected officials that contact you and want to know the update of something, it's always available. You don't have to make phone calls or call a meeting. So in summary, for all the different counties, whether they're rural, whether they're urban, whether they're rich or poor, they are stretched for time and money. And this type of system saves time and money in many different ways. First, it reduces the redundancy. You don't have everyone working on separate plans and reports. And when they come together, information is only entered once, but it's used in many different ways. You eliminate a huge amount of time and burden of creating reports because every place you click, it's presentation ready. And by designing a standard framework that can be agreed upon, the various themes, the strategy maps, and zooming down into more detail, people have a consistent context to work in, and they're not constantly rehashing the same things. The software has templates and fill-in-the-blank formats that simplifies things for the partners but creates a consistency of viewing information across the system. And it's easy to link or drill into existing data sources such as the New Jersey SHAD or other data that's available. And there's a huge amount of data that you can then have at people's fingertips. Through the use of a system like this, the Partnering for Health Coalition within Hunterdon County can work on creating this shared strategy, their shared community health needs assessment and community health improvement plan. And each of the partners can then develop their more detailed plan in the software, and it can all link inappropriately, and it can be viewed in different ways. In the Hunterdon Healthcare System and Health Department, along with the steering committee of partners, can oversee this process. So that's the quick overview. Hopefully that was helpful. And if you have any questions, my contact information is on these slides.